Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the swear word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community, by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Up here tonight, we have an amazing guest, locked and loaded, ready to go, and one product on Hot or Not, and a fun game. So episode 154 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for being here and continuing to make this podcast what it is. We have a great episode here tonight. We have one sauce on deck from Homestead's hot sauce, as well as we have Maddy, the hot sauce girl, here to discuss Homestead's hot sauce and everything that she's been able to accomplish, learn about the journey that she's been able to take to get her where she's at today. So excited to dive into that, as well as we have a very fun game locked and loaded, ready to go. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and kick it on over to Hot or Not. All right, hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. If this is your first time checking out the podcast or checking out Hot or Not, I do things a little bit different here. I don't do a 1 out of 10 scale. I do a 1 out of 5. That's based off of 5 different categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, burn. Add those up, average them out. That gives us our total swear word rating. Now, with that being said, I also do not like to read the ingredients ahead of time. I like to let my taste buds do the exploration, and then we figure out all together if I was correct or if I was missing anything. So let's do this. Let's go and jump into tonight's product. This is their Halloween edition, the Haunted hot sauce. It does have a perforation on the cellophane. For everyone that is, curious, this is kind of a more pale red color to the overall sauce. It does have some nice texture going on in there. Let's get a good heaping tablespoonful. Nice flow on this. High flow with some texture in there. Wow, aromatically, great overall notes. You're picking up what smells like maybe some garlic, a little bit of vinegar, a nice savoriness to this, maybe like tomato or something in that nature. But then just a very faint note of the overall pepper notes carried forward in that aroma. But cheers. Nice. Got a crisp cut, almost like a little citrus start into the savory depth of the overall body to this. Picking up what tastes like maybe there's some onion or some garlic there. It tastes like a little bit of tomato, and definitely getting that nice overall pepper body. It is starting to, it has a nice quick flash of heat that's very manageable, and you can feel it building now. My guess is there's definitely more than one pepper used in this sauce. This definitely has to be a ghost or a ghost variety that's really in there to amplify that slower overall build and really being able to isolate towards that back of the throat area. If you're a seasoned chili head, you're constantly working on your own personal best, and you're pushing yourself, this is a nice medium heat sauce for you all day long. If you're just starting out, this is going to be anywhere from medium to hot, depending on that, but really being able to add in control and make sure you just add where you're comfortable, you're going to be able to still enjoy the sauce and have a great time. Ingredients of ghost pepper, green chili, tomato, garlic, salt, and vinegar. If you've had the pleasure of trying the Haunted hot sauce from Homestead's hot sauce, let me know down below what you thought of it as well. And if you've checked out any other Homestead's hot sauce, go ahead and fire off in the comments which one is your absolute favorite. If you enjoyed the products that were featured here tonight, I'll have the direct link down below for the website so you can check out all the other available products, as this one here that was featured tonight is a limited release product, so it will not be still listed on the site, but there are tons of other great products from Homestead's hot sauce. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to tonight's discussion. Hey, Maddy, how's it going?
Hey, doing really good today. Thanks for having me, Brandon.
Well, glad to have you here. Obviously, had a great opportunity to get familiar with your products early on with the podcast, and now glad to have you here and learn more about, what got you started and everything that's kind of like spurred you on into this moment here. But one thing I like to lead off with is really the icebreaker, only set question. What got you into the
Sure.
world of hot? And then what was that moment that you decided I'm gonna start making my own spicy products?
Okay, so what got me into the world of hot was definitely where I grew up. I grew up in St. Augustine, Florida, which is a very hot sauce forward town. We even claim our own hometown pepper. So I grew up eating spicy food, enjoying it, and just kind of celebrating hot sauce my whole life. Plus, when I travel, I was that type of person who really collected every local hot sauce everywhere I went. And that kind of really inspired me when I did decide to start a business, what kind of business I wanted. I knew it was going to be something that I was passionate about. So it was kind of a simple, pick for me to go with hot sauce.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always fun to be able to go somewhere first and foremost. So this is something that like I like to personally do, and it sounds like you do too. Which is if I know that I'm going to go somewhere, I will debate. Do I bring at least one bottle of hot sauce that I know, love, and trust, and then venture out to find what else might be available in that natural market? And it's always fun and exciting to find something that wasn't on the radar in the first place in a situation like that.
Yes, definitely. I always travel with my hot sauce, whether it's to, because I'm going out and I want to make sure I have it for, eating purposes, or even if it's just to like, take a hot sauce selfie here and there. So yes, I'm always packing a bottle.
Yep, yep, absolutely. I got different sauce bottles and pepper spice blends in my truck at all times for that similar reason. It's like you never
Yeah,
know when someone's gonna call and be like, "Hey, you want to go to lunch?" or "Hey,
exactly.
dinner plans got changed. Let's go over here." And you always got to be at the ready. So I think
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't quite that comfortable yet in their overall spice journey to start bringing stuff around, but it's good times.
Yes, we're in good company, you and I,
Yep.
anyway.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, all right. Everyone, I'm sure, is wondering, and you might have shared this before, but for those that might not be familiar, how did you land on Homestead's hot sauce?
Well, homesteading was always a little bit of a dream for my husband and myself. We always had this kind of, big dream where we could buy our own land and live off the land. It's almost like this old American dream in a way. And that's really what inspired the name is that this is our dream. It's our pipeline dream for the future to retire on land. And so it's almost kind of like manifesting that dream for us as well.
I like it. That definitely makes sense. And yes, very much so. Unfortunately, I feel like there's so much of the kids that are really like being brought up today that don't see it the same way that we do. We had different games and things and TV shows and all these other stuff that kind of idolized, if you will, the idea of breaking free and having your own land and putting that nice distance, respectful but nice distance
Yeah.
between you and your neighbor. And so,
Definitely. Or you put
unfortunately,
Oregon growing up, right?
yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes a wheel falls off the wagon and someone gets bit by the rattlesnake, but ultimately that was the goal was to make it across. And so, yeah,
Yes.
it's been ingrained. It's one of those things that me and my wife talk about as well often, which is like,
Wow.
okay, with DFW getting so outrageously populous, the amount of people just continuing to grow, it is it something that used to take us a 10-minute drive now takes us 20 to 30, sometimes more, just to do that. And it's just like it's agitating because like one, I grew up here, I knew what it was like at one point, and then now to see it kind of like there's a lot more going on. Sure, there's new development, but you lose that nature aspect. Was the more
Yes.
buildings go in, you start to kind of disconnect and you have to find fun, creative ways to bring nature back. And so,
Yeah.
and I was
Yes.
gonna,
Uh,
oh, I was just
have you
gonna
seen
say,
it?
definitely,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
garden is
We do
also
a little bit. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
so.
The
Well,
garden.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, share
Sorry.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, you're good. I was gonna say, share with us a little bit about your overall garden because obviously I've had the pleasure of being able to see those online. So, definitely reach out, follow on Instagram, and you can see how the whole garden is thriving and going. Because I know you love to share bits about that whenever it is definitely in gardening season, as we are now starting to exit that phase of the year. But it's always fun to see how you're able to utilize the space that's around you.
Yeah, it definitely was a learning experience too. So, when we were building stuff, we didn't really have like a lot of experience building anything out, but we were just collecting wood pallets and stuff and just kind of learning as we went. And it's been so exciting. I mean, having this little oasis in the city has been such an amazing experience. Also, just like a little bit of practice for growing and just learning the culture of hot sauce and growing has been really good for the business and for my own knowledge. But in addition to that, our kids are having such a good time growing with us, harvesting, watering the garden. So it's been this whole family project, and I really loved it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
No, that has to be an absolute blast. My kids are just now starting to. Well, they've been interested before, but they've been interested without the desire to learn, if you will.
Mhm.
And now they're starting to cross that threshold of like wanting to learn like why things work the way they do, or why
Mhm.
you put the seeds in the soil and we water them. And like right now they're in the process of actually trying to start a plant from seed. And
Wow.
I'm not trying to get involved in it because I want them to try to figure out like what works and what doesn't work. And my
Yeah.
my youngest, she, oh my goodness, so it's a little like paper cup with the soil in there and whatnot, and then she puts the seed and she goes, it needs water, so she fills it up like it's a water cup and then goes and sets it down, and I'm just like, this is a
Oh,
swimming pool for the seed, but okay.
this is getting.
Yeah, yeah, and then my oldest is still about kind of the same. Or well, oldest daughter is about the same in that sense. My son, he's kind of started to cross into the too cool for school type of territory now that he's got his driver's
Wow.
license and all this other stuff. And so, yeah,
What?
yeah,
You have a driver's license?
yep, yep. So my son's
Wow.
16, and then my
Oh,
two daughters are 6 and 4. So.
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's
That's
a
amazing.
pretty big gap, and it's also, it's nice because there's times whenever he can kind of help, but then there's also times when it's like he's a teenager and like got to let him do teenager things and not have to worry about, you know, helping worry
Mhm.
about what his little sisters are doing. And there's a healthy crossover there. He'll still get involved, but yeah, he's very much getting into that phase of too cool for school. So.
Yeah, practically grown.
Yeah, yeah. So he's just all like immersed in hockey and golf. That's all pretty much I ever like see him kind of
That's it.
focused on. So
Yeah,
hey,
that's good things to be focused on. I love that.
yeah. So it's a lot of fun, but they all have their own little spice journeys, and I guess from
Mhm.
that standpoint, have from in y'all's own household, do y'all all enjoy spice, or at what kind of varying levels or iterations of that?
Yes. So, my kids are very small still. So AJ, he's my son. He's only 2, so definitely no hot sauce for him. Layla is just getting started a little bit. Like she's very curious, and so she is willing to try, but she always has like one of those little dramatic, like, "Oh my god, I need water" moments.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I both love spicy things. And Andre, he has a tolerance that's insane. He's ready to take bites of Peruvian ají lemon peppers straight out of the garden. So he's, he loves it. He's got a high tolerance for sure.
Very nice. Yeah, it's always fun to be able to have that chance to really join together as a family in that spice journey because talk about it often where it's like just strangers at a table or whatnot, looking at the pepper competition side, or even just
Mhm.
simply sharing food, sharing a meal with somebody, and having the capsaicin effect. Like flavors, sure, they tell their own story. They kind of lean into cultures, etc. But the experience of eating capsaicin is the same for everybody, just in different iterations of their overall tolerance. But that journey is the same thing that bonds, and that's what's so super cool to see, and definitely on a family level. That's why I've been so excited to see that the my daughters are like really kind of jumping into it as well. Once again, to what you're saying, not like they're going wild with it, right? But
Yeah.
my youngest, I think she was 3 when she first had her first jalapeno with me. She ate about halfway
Oh,
up and then stopped, and it was the same thing. Oh, I need water, and then she was like,
yeah.
"Okay, I want to do this again." So it's always fun. It's always
Yeah.
a real good fun experience. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, the sauces that you started out with. What was
Mhm.
the, I guess, initial inspiration, and then what was that like first sauce that you know, brought to life?
Yeah, so the first sauce was our original recipe. It was green chili. Actually, it's one of the sauces that you originally reviewed all that time ago. And I just will say this, your podcast was the first time we ever got to see a Homestead's hot sauce on a screen looking amazing. We watched it on our big screen TV, and I have to say, as like this first moment for me, starting out all that time ago, was very emotional. I was freaking out, like screaming, crying, and Andre and I were so excited. And then to be here now is just a very full circle moment for me. So thank you, first of all. Second, green chili was, like I was saying, that was our original, and it was inspired actually by Andre's family. So his dad and then his grandmother and grandmother before her all were also growers and hot sauce makers. They didn't do anything shelf stable, but they call it shashlik sauce. And it's basically like kebabs that are skewered meats and roasted over the fire. And then you eat those delicious meats with spicy sauce that they called shashlik sauce. And the green chili recipe was inspired by that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that is definitely because as you're saying, rewinding time, mentally thinking back. Obviously, loved the sauce, and I remember that was the one that, in particular, that my wife just kept nudging me out of the way, saying that that was her bottle. Which hey,
Oh,
once again, willing to all be there in support for everyone's spice journey. So that was good to see her kind of get back into it, because there was a while that she was eating spicy, and then whenever our first, I guess, really when my oldest daughter was born, my wife's tolerance really just like she stopped wanting to try to push it and get back to where she was, and now she's teetered back into it. So now she's back comfortably around Scotch bonnet level, sometimes
yeah,
ghost, but
all the
yeah.
love.
Yep, yep. So it's fun. And yes, it's super cool to, as as you'd mentioned, to have you back on here. First time, obviously, as your product was featured and really showcasing that. And, just the main overarching idea, purpose, and point of the whole podcast is to shed a light and showcase those that are in the community. Everyone knows or may know a hot sauce or spicy product in general by its branding, by all of these other things, but not really at the heart and the core of why it was created, who created it, and giving more insight. It's really that continuation of brand affinity, if you will, that it's really being able to be laid out here. But that is so cool. So once again, it's very awesome to be able to have you here as a guest, to be able to continue to share, and also for me to get to know you as well better throughout this process. So a lot of
Thank
fun.
you. Yeah, exciting.
Now, I know that you also had at one point, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if you still have it, but a nice seasoning that you focus without salt added. You're still running those, or no?
Yes, actually, we developed that line into 3 now, actually. So I'm very excited about how successful that has been going, especially on TikTok Shop, which is our newest venture. The seasonings have been doing very well. Our original seasoning was a Kickin' Kitchen seasoning. The concept was to make dinner faster, simpler, with less mess, and 0 salt. So you can have a lot of flavor, a heavily seasoned protein or vegetable without all the added sodium that you get when you get the premixes from the grocery grocery store. I think everybody has had an accident or a story about when they've over seasoned their food and it was like so salty because there was so much sodium. So that was the concept behind it all, was to solve that problem. And I'm very happy to say that that seasoning was successful. So then we created a non-spicy version for people who are cooking, for people of all ages. Maybe you've got young kids like myself. So then we have the kitchen seasoning, no salt, same concept. And then to mix up the varieties throughout the week, we also have a chicken curry style. So this style was inspired to kind of break the monotony of the typical nightly meal and kind of add some new flavors.
Okay, I like it. And, and yes, to that point, it's like it also works great. So yes, the over salting aspect, definitely see that. And if you're salt conscious, I see that. But it also doesn't preclude you. That's what's the beauty of the product that you're delivering, is it doesn't preclude you from, say, not being able to add salt. You can just now properly manage the amount of salt. And so that is, yeah, it's greatly beneficial. And to the point that you were making earlier, there's so many other offerings out there that just kind of get slapped together and you don't quite know the ratio at which you're getting that in. And so it might actually be more of a salt heavy blend, and you
Mm.
wouldn't know unless you're actually like pouring. Well, I'm a little bit
Oh,
different, and I'll pour it on my hand and try it first, right? And so most
yeah,
people won't do that. They'll just go, "Oh yeah, this should be good. Smells good. Okay."
yeah, that I definitely did not try it on my hand, but that's a smart idea. I'm gonna take that idea for later.
Yeah, it's I even at the most recent a festival, hot sauce festival I went to, it's always interesting, and I appreciate it because the different options at which you can try the product is helpful. But I'm a bit more of a, I guess, like a purist in the sense that if I'm trying a hot sauce or a barbecue sauce or whatever the product may be, there's always that offering of like, would you like it with a chip or would you like it with this? And it's like, no, I just want it straight on the spoon because I want to know exactly what is going to be expected, from this product. Is this product going to need something else to stand with in order to stand strong, or is it going to be able to stand on its own and amplify what it goes with? And so,
Yeah, I'm said that actually. We do the same thing at our farmers markets and events. We only sample on spoons. We don't offer chips or crackers or anything, especially because a lot of chips and crackers have salt or flavors and it just changes the taste. So I am with you 100% on that. People always ask me, like, oh, where's the chip? I'm like, believe me, just try it.
yep, yep. And like the people that say, "Where's the chip?" It's like ultimately, well, one, it's not you're there. You're not there to feed them. You're there to be able to bring forward a way to make their food taste better. But
Mhm.
also at the same time, it's like you don't. Maybe it's just the more consumerism consumption mindset than say the ones that are there to like craft and create, right? So maybe it's just a different mindset perspective there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure.
Now, you mentioned it a second ago with the markets, but what is your current scene right now? Are you focused on primarily markets around you? Are you focused more on the online aspect? How does that whole play into your overall workflow?
Well, first of all, the farmers markets are definitely my first love. We'll never stop doing those markets. It's a great playground for entrepreneurs to test new products, get feedback right away. So that is one of my most valued assets, absolutely. But right now I'm experimenting heavily in TikTok shop and live stream sales. And I have to admit, just after 3 weeks, the statistics and the data that I've collected from doing it is extremely encouraging. It's very exciting. I've made sales from complete strangers who've never even heard of Homesteads or seen Instagram before, which is very exciting for me because it kind of affirms that I have this ability to sell my product, first of all. Second of all, I've had those same strangers come back and make repeat buys, which then affirms that there's trust and quality with the product. So, getting people to buy once is exciting. Getting a repeat buyer online through TikTok Shop was probably the most exciting thing that I had experienced. It really did validate my product, in my mind anyway, and encouraged me to keep going. So, TikTok Shop has been very, very exciting.
Very cool. Now, the live stream aspect of it, is this just simply on TikTok, or is this across many different outlets, or how does that play in?
Thanks for asking. So, we have started with just TikTok Shop and setting up a second camera to live stream through Instagram simultaneously. Now, the difference between what's happening at the same time is that through TikTok Shop, we have products pinned to the live. People can literally do a one step purchase from the live stream to the TikTok Shop, and then it's done. It's so simple and easy. On Instagram, we do have to ask people to either follow up through the website, Amazon, Etsy, or on TikTok Shop. So there are extra steps that go with Instagram. But right now, what I'm doing is live streaming just to get people excited and warmed up to the idea that it will happen. And eventually, if I do get an Instagram shop linked, I think that we will be able to post products back and forth. But right now, it is heavily focused on TikTok Shop.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was gonna say, I know with Instagram, they have the capabilities of if it's a post or whatever, something that's not live, you can build
Right.
in the product as a click button. But yeah, I was just trying to think through. Yeah, I guess you don't. There's not a specific thing that it asks on Instagram that you could filter that in ahead of the
Mm.
live. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
They've got
interesting.
catching up to do with their systems and processes with the software. In addition to that, I will say that TikTok has been more successful with sales because people view TikTok now as a sales platform. Instagram has been much more successful for telling my story and my personal branding. And I don't really love using Instagram to sell people directly. I really prefer to use Instagram to tell the story and just let people see like BTS and inside looks of what I'm doing as a founder, CEO, and entrepreneur. But TikTok Shop is widely known and accepted that it is acceptable to advertise and try and sell people. So that is why I'm using it a little bit more as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, it's always a mixed bag I hear from people's experience with TikTok as far as being able to sell a
Mhm.
product. And so, some of that you got to factor in. It's like how much is it the person presenting it, how much is it the actual market, how much it is the algorithm. I mean, you have so many different variables that you really have to focus in and dial in, and that's why it's often advised and advocated that you only focus on like one social platform at a time until you get the understanding, and then you can kind of add, and then you get the understanding and you add, and so on and so forth. That's where I feel like so many right out the gate. And I guess, I mean, I even did it initially with the podcast because I was like, well, I have a one stop way of like, dispersing to, at the time when first starting, I think I was dispersing out to 13 different avenues. Well, that's 13 different veins at which, flow from the mainstream, if you will. And it's like, okay, well, then you're trying to take head count of like, okay, well, active listeners here, here, and here. And it's like, okay, well, how do we, and it becomes a whole bigger issue. And the same thing kind of happens whenever you're dispersing a product. If you're in
Mhm.
too many different way areas, it becomes harder to define accurately what's working for you and what's not working for you. And to take
Yeah.
that extra step is extremely beneficial. And I feel like a lot miss that mark.
Yes, definitely. I agree. Learning things step by step before you move on to the next has definitely been helpful. And I love that advice. That's good. That's great advice. And I definitely try to do that as well. I love that.
Yeah. Well, so before we get into the inspiration stuff of your sauces from like a forward thinking perspective, now you've accomplished just simply knowing from what I had met you at the beginning of the podcast, kind of starting out time frame to now, you've been able to do many different fun ventures and ways to personal growth, business growth throughout this journey, and just been watching your wins stack up. So congratulations there. But sharing with us, I guess, a quick overview. You don't have to go into full details and everything, but full, just brief overview of what that whole path has been like for you.
Yeah, the last year has been really exciting. It has been this uphill battle. I do feel like every time I get ahead, then there's a whole new learning curve. So it's this huge educational process. But what I will say is that I've been learning a lot from all the people around me, and I have been very supported by my husband, who has been so helpful to me. He has encouraged me to tell my story and put myself out there. And without that, I definitely don't think we would have taken the business as far. So he definitely has pushed me really hard to go out for all kinds of crazy things, whether it was like TV shows or magazine covers or fashion week. He's really pushed me to do that. And his support really helped me a lot, I think, carry us all this way.
Very nice. Yeah. So that's, I guess, then for the next part here, because obviously it sounds like your husband's been a great motivator in that sense, an encourager throughout that. From a mentor standpoint, within, I guess, the whole hot sauce side of things, have you found, or did you find anyone, or have you found anyone to kind of be that person, or has it solely been really pulling it up from the home base and just going full send?
Well, I have to admit, the first person who really brought me under their wing was Bronze. And I'm sure you know Bronze as well, Modern Rugged on Instagram. He definitely, I would say, is my original mentor in the hot sauce world. He really opened up my eyes with how social media works. And he really helped me a lot. So shout out to Bronze if you're watching. You definitely helped me a lot. So I would say that he's the OG mentor for the hot sauce world.
Okay. And the overall, just I love the drive, the passion, the desire to continue to see wins happen that your husband's been able to help facilitate and push, and then for y'all to be able to pull together in that aspect, and just be able to go out there and just continue to conquer anything and everything you show up to. It is very cool. So I love that for y'all to be able to continue to share that story with everyone and push, just push forward. And I guess from that standpoint, it's, have you been thinking about any kind of, is there any new products underway? Have you had any kind of different directions or any ways in which that those that are watching and listening could potentially see something coming up soon, or what is that looking like for y'all right now?
Yeah, so coming up, we did develop some seasonal products. So we developed a 4th of July sauce called our Freedom Sauce, which has been very delicious and exciting at the farmer's market and online. And so that inspired us to kind of do another seasonal drop, which was our haunted hot sauce. So going forward, people can probably expect more seasonal drops from us, more craft selections, more limited batches, and special offers like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I was, where gears were turning, where my head was going, was knowing that you have leaned into these seasonal sauces. I love it. And I enjoy the idea, and I think most people do. It's the idea of that, something new, something. It's kind of like wines. Whenever you're buying a wine, it's not like, oh, I just want a red wine. It's like, no, okay, well, I want a red wine from this region and from this year. And, there's all these different things that layer in there. And I think that that's a fun and cool way to be able to do it in the hot sauce world, is with nice seasonal takes on different sauces.
Yes, I totally agree. I love how you related it to wine. Usually I relate it to whiskey, but yes, I definitely agree. It's kind of like being able to have like a craft selection. We have a secret garden hot sauce actually where I did take inspiration from craft barrel whiskeys where they even have like the bottles that look like they're handwritten, numbered and labeled like very kind of authentic. And I took inspiration from that as well. So, yes, I can relate to what you said a lot.
Yeah. Well, I do love whiskey. I do love bourbon. But that is something that I've had to somewhat sunset in my own personal life. And thanks to my in laws, I have become much more of a wine connoisseur, if you will.
Ooh.
And so it's been a lot of fun.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a lot of. fun to taste wines. I love hot sauce sampling and wine tasting and things like that. It's always a good time, and it can bring people together. It's something to talk about, something to have in common, to discuss. So yes, I it's very relatable for people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, okay. Now, from your own personal consumption standpoint, obviously, I would assume you're going to be utilizing your own sauce for a daily use, but where do you tend to gravitate around?
So my daily sauce is daddle pepper for sure. It's not just because it's my hometown pepper and I love it. This sauce for me is the perfect dipping sauce. So I really like the consistency, the thickness. It's kind of textured like a sriracha if you like a thicker sauce. And so for me, daddle pepper is the perfect balance of heat as well. It's on the medium hot spectrum, so it's not a killer, and I can enjoy it often and a lot because of that. It's flavorful, but also for me personally, it doesn't add any calories or sugar to my diet. So for me, especially, that is one of the better benefits.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I've talked about it on the podcast, but I guess the main focus is so many folks forget about hot sauce when they're thinking about their macros and planning out their meal preps and so on and so forth. Because hot sauce, now you still have to pay attention to make sure you're not getting something that's like loaded with sugars and all these other things to really throw your macros out, but it is a great avenue to be able to enhance and add flavor without really rocking the boat. So,
Yeah.
phenomenal
I
use case.
Yeah, one of the things I say a lot is like people can start cutting out salad dressings or ketchups and stuff like that from their diet and replace them with hot sauce because well, if you're checking the label, you can find hot sauce that doesn't have sugar and is low sodium and 0 calories, and then you can really have flavor without adding all the bad stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And perfect example, as you were saying there with the salads, because, salad dressings are, oftentimes one of the biggest culprits of, I would say that and ketchups are probably like the biggest culprits of unknowing how much your calorie intake is about to be just based off of those alone. I mean, ranch is definitely up there too, but
Yes. There's a time when I was cooking for a boxer, and he used to call those sauces empty calories. And so he would say, no empty calories when I was like making his food.
That that's a pretty good way to look at it. I mean, because ultimately, it's like sure, brings some flavor, right? But it's like at what cost, at what expense? When there's better alternatives, better options out there that you could utilize. So, and no shade to those. I still, will incorporate them in every so often. But being able to utilize a hot sauce for a salad dressing, or finding fun and creative ways to mix it into like a marinade or something like that. It doesn't make sense to me to want to just ignore the whole added benefits from adding hot sauce to it. So,
hmm That's true. And I definitely think that the way the market is going, consumers are becoming much more health conscious. They're reading the labels and demanding that they understand what they read more than ever. It's no longer really acceptable to not be able to pronounce all the words, that are on the
yep.
bottom of the ingredient. So health conscious consumers are definitely looking for cleaner options.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, might as well lean into it. You can do it without all the unnecessary things. The unnecessary things were not there from day one. Those are still relatively recent additions that we have slowly ignored, and then now, slowly waking up to the fact that don't really need something in there that doesn't sound like it should be food. So,
Right.
yeah.
Definitely. That.
Well, now as you've started to get out in the markets, you've started to have your product really get out there to different, through TikTok, et cetera, all these other different avenues. Now, with that, what is the overall feedback? Has anyone really kind of like leaned into one particular item from you more so than another? There been like a people's choice of your products?
Yes, there has. I would say that the gourmet blend has definitely become the front runner. It used to be daddle pepper, but since we've introduced TikTok to the e-coms, we've added that into all of the data that we're collecting, and we're selling gourmet blend now across all the platforms more than ever. And gourmet blend is a delicious sauce. It's not super hot on the spectrum of heat, and I think that's why consumers and people are gravitating towards it because it's kind of like a daily use style of sauce, something you can throw on anything and everything, and it doesn't like kill your mouth. People don't have like any, tummy aches or acid or any of that kind of problem. So I think that's why it's the most popular right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can definitely see it. Now, the daddle, I would also agree. I think that would be my favorite out of the lineup, but I also do love a good daddle pepper. So, for
Oh,
me, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, yeah, I can see where the masses, where that might be more the people's choice, if you will. But
yeah.
definitely not one to really let slide away. The daddle will always be important. That's for sure.
Definitely. And I feel like it's definitely going to start trending a lot more. I mean, it's so popular down south, but even where I'm at in New York, most people have not heard of it. And so I'm explaining it a lot and describing it to people a lot, and they're trying it and it's new and they love it. So I do think daddle pepper is going to become more popular over these next few years.
Yeah, and I guess perfect example or breakdown on that too is like because I was thinking about this as well. Like obviously, spice in general all over the world is growing. It's becoming more popular. The demand is there, but it's also thinking about just simply, yeah, spicier food is very common in the South as well as it's like the North isn't really known for like super spicy anything. Now you have the chili heads that are up there. You have all these great expos and events and all these things. And like, sure, as a chili head thinking about it, you're like, oh, well, everyone just loves spicy food. But it's
Mm.
like your everyday average American, average, person in the world in general. It's like at what magnitude is their tolerance at? Like that's the fun side of the scale is looking into the overall metrics of like how much are people comfortable eating versus what the demand is, or like does it actually line up, or is there a leading demand over the overall. Yeah, so it kind of got my wheels turning in that sense, and a little bit off on a tangent there, but yeah, just thinking through.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I definitely think that you can see that the hot sauce industry is trending more and more. And one of the ways that you can see that is all of our main fast food chains are now incorporating spicy options on their menu. And why I say fast food chains, well, because that's global. It's all around the country. It's all around the world. So when things are hitting the mainstream, like the pop culture of food, let's call it, you know that it's getting big. So almost every single fast food chain, they got some spicy options on their menu. And so I think that's one of the big indicators that the regular masses are starting to enjoy spice more often.
Yep, absolutely. I definitely think that there's going to be, it's only going to get better from here first and foremost. But I think that the wave at which that we see this whole like capsaicin boom take off, I think it's going to be very shocking in the leap that it'll potentially gather here soon. Because I mean, there's more. You're more willing to try something new the younger you are than say someone that's been doing the same routine year over year, day over day. They're not going to want to always just break out. That's not the norm. That's not the typical. So from that standpoint, you have more receptive people coming in, willing to try spicy products at different varying heat levels, and just
Mhm.
finding nice pairings to these. And I think that that's going to be doing remarkable things for the overall, just community as a whole. So very cool.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it is cool. It's cool to see.
Well, I have a very fun game planned, and I want to make sure that we jump on over to that. So let's go ahead and jump on over there.
Let's do it.
All right, so here we go. We have a very fun game of Keep Five, Cut Five. And so, for those that are just audio only listening, I will go ahead and list these off with their perspective numbers. So there's 10 images on the screen. The best way that this goes is you either pick to keep first or to cut first, and then you alternate from there until the game is completely solved. Now, how you rate these or how you end up making the judgment on it is totally up to you. There could be a combination of like these things working out well, or it could just be simply you just like these things more so than the others. So, and I tried to give a nice split of options here. So, up first, number one, this is to represent going to a farmer's market, a hot sauce convention. This is getting out there and showcasing your product. So that's number one. Number two, that is to simply represent growing. So growing Superhots, growing peppers, growing whatever the case may be, growing in that sense. Number three, well, this is knowledge. This is reading. This is taking the time to learn something. That is number three. Number four is family. Number five, well, this is just tacos. I mean, who doesn't love tacos? So might have been rigged a little bit to have tacos in here, but it is. And then number six, this is fall. And number seven, this is winter. And number eight, this is getting in the kitchen. This is the commercial kitchen is the image, but this is to represent getting in there, creating, crafting, and having fun. Number nine is working out. I know that you love to work out. You're very motivated and driven to get in there and push yourself. So that made the list here. And well, number 10, you can't have New York pizza not on the list. So New York pizza is number 10.
Yes. Okay. So let's keep number 2.
Okay. Keeping the gardening. Got it.
Yep. Keep the one with the kitchen.
Okay. We're going to keep the commercial kitchen for the creating and the crafting. All right. What's a cut now? We'll grab a cut.
Okay. We are going to cut, let's see. What was the first one again?
So number 1 is working a festival, a fair, a hot sauce thing. This is basically you sampling your products, you getting out there, exposure.
No, we're going to keep that one. Okay. You know what we're going to cut? I'm sorry we're going to cut it, but we are going to cut tacos.
All right. Simple enough.
Because we have to keep New York pizza.
Okay.
So if I had between the two, I would choose the pizza.
All right. Well, let's get some cuts going here. At least 2 more cuts.
Okay, we're going to cut. Let's see. What was number 9?
Number 9 is working out. So what remains? I'll go with that. Number 3 is knowledge, reading, etc., learning something. Number 4 is family. Number 6 is fall. Number 7 is winter, and number 9 is working out.
Fall and winter.
All right. Fall and winter are gone. I felt like winter was an easy throwaway. Fall is always a toss-up on whether or not, it's a loved or hated thing. So, all right.
Hate it. But if I had to choose between like my family and fall, you know what I mean? There's like all these tough choices now at the end.
Yep.
How am I like cut my family? Cut.
Yep. This is where it really starts to get hard right here. It's because there's so few choices.
We're gonna cut one more. So let's cut the working out.
Okay.
Meh.
Well, I mean, you definitely have the commitment, and you definitely are out there doing it. So, kudos to you there. I know that's something that while in the military, being forced to do it for so long, it was second nature. And then I did that for probably another year or so after. And then I was like, I don't have to work out every day. I don't need to. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Now I do it. And now I wish I would be doing it more. So there's a double-edged trade-off there. It's not always as green as it looks.
Yes, I like always have to have a huge battle with myself to go every time. It's never gotten easier. I always have to fight with myself and push very hard to go.
I agree. I feel the same way. It's much easier to do other things than to get up and go to the gym. So
Yes, definitely. Okay, so do I need to keep one more?
you can either keep or cut at this point because whatever happens now, the other is it.
Okay, I'm gonna keep family.
All right. Yeah,
Awesome.
might have loaded family in there, knowing that ultimately it wasn't going to get cut. So it's a little bit of an unfair placement, but there's a few in there that were kind of unfair placements just to see how it all unfolds. It's always
Yeah.
fun to see the rationale thought process behind some of the more difficult choices.
I feel like you created like a very psychological personality test just now.
Just a little bit. Yeah. It's always
Like a lot.
fun. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it's always fun. All in good you know, good times.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
that was keep 5 cut 5. Hopefully that was enjoyable. It was ultimately there to help kind of break up the normal flow, reset the mind as we go into the nugget of knowledge. Now, the nugget of knowledge here, we can gear this one towards, let's say, someone that feels like they've just hit a wall. They started, they were super gun ho and passionate about what they're doing, and they just feel like they hit that wall and are trying to figure out what to do next. Like part of them says they want to push forward, part of them says they don't know if this is the right path anymore.
Hmm. So, that has happened to me personally many times along the way. If I've ever felt like maybe giving up on the dream, I do remind myself that almost everybody who made it big has also hit this moment, and they also had the fork in the road and the precipice of a huge decision on their shoulders to decide whether it was to quit or to keep going. And the people who make it and make it big always chose to keep going. And so, that's something I remind myself. All of my favorite heroes, whether they're fictional or real, they always choose to keep going in the face of danger or adversity or whatever it is they're facing. And so I take inspiration from that as well. I definitely would say to a person who's in that moment to remind themselves why they love what they're doing and to take some time away. And I think that's totally fine. But then to jump back in with a clear head, ready to, make it.
Absolutely. Very well said. And thank you so much for that nugget of knowledge. Now, this next part here is the hot seat nomination. This is someone that you think would make a great guest for the show.
Sure. So I have to give a shout out 100% to my Blocks family. Gerald Williams from Beal Sauce Company. He's also a veteran. So his company is veteran owned and veteran run. He's got a whole line of veterans in his family. His hot sauces are delicious. I've tried them myself in person. He's a great guy, a great friend, and he's a really very well respected member of the hot sauce community. So if you guys don't know him or haven't tried his sauces yet, I highly recommend checking him out on Instagram. It's at Beal Sauce Company.
All right. Well, I'll be reaching out to have a time set up and ready to go to have him on the podcast. So thank you so much for that nomination. And of course, the last little bit here, which is ultimately greatly beneficial for those that are just audio only listening on Apple Podcasts. But where can they find you and how can they find you and any kind of announcements that you want to make?
Sure. So I would love for people to connect with me online through all of my social media platforms. You can connect with me directly on Instagram through at Maddy the Hot Sauce Girl or on TikTok, the same handle at Maddy the Hot Sauce Girl. Also through the Homesteads account, which is Homesteads Hot Sauce on Instagram. Plus, I do have a YouTube channel that shows a lot of BTS and inside footage into what it's like to be a founder and CEO, which is also Maddy the Hot Sauce Girl. So you guys can find me and connect with me basically on all of those platforms. And I would love to see you guys join my live stream sometime as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maddy, for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. There's still so much more we can dive into. And of course, it sounds like there's always something new being added into the mix, into the knowledge base, into the overall wheelhouse that you've been able to, be able to really thrive in the given environment that you're in, whether that be with the hot sauce or personal development or just sheer motivation and will to continue to grow. So very inspiring there. And would love to have you back on.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Yes, I would love to be back. I cannot wait for you to try some new sauces. And I definitely got a green chili on the way, especially because I remembered your wife loved it. So I'm really happy to, hear your review on some new stuff.
Maddy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on here. If you would like to keep up with Homestead's hot sauce, I'll have the direct links down below for all the ways that you can keep up with what they have going on, as well as all of Maddy's socials, so you can keep up with her on all the different avenues. So if you enjoyed the products that were featured here on Hot or Not, I will have the direct links down below for those, as well as a link to the main site so you can check out the full lineup of amazing products. As well as thank you so much for everyone that has just recently found the podcast, all the way to those that have been rocking since day one. If you're on a platform that allows for a 5-star rating, please go ahead. Please do so. It helps the algorithm get us in front of more chili heads or individuals that are curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. Don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday. And want to go ahead and say that we do have currently open spots for sponsorship for the podcast. So if you're looking to sponsor the podcast, you would like to have a featured sponsored segment, reach out on socials or on www.theswearword.net, and we'll get that conversation started. Quick shout out for our current sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all of those needs, as well as webdx.one. Maybe you have an online site, maybe you had a guy at one point and you lost contact with them, maybe you never got around to building one. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one. They make it simple, painless, easy. Best of all, they get you looking great online while you get to focus on what you do best. I'm Brandon Swear from everything from the world of hot. This has been The Swear Word.